So I met a lady a few days ago for the first time, and she informed me that she had attended Christian school, grades 1 through 12, possibly K through 12. 12 years was what I was told. And at age 26, she had a cathartic experience and left the church and now does her own thing and does not subscribe to what she was taught as a child. The longer I live, the more I hear stories such as this. They're all very similar. Minor details change. And it just reinforces the fact of things I've said in previous videos, that teaching a child to believe in Jesus and in God and in the Bible, and giving them a way of thinking and a creed and a belief system doesn't guarantee anything. Sometimes they stick with their faith, sometimes they don't. Seems to me more often than not they don't, from the stories I hear. So, to reiterate, what's the solution? The solution is they have to know Jesus himself. They really have to know him, be in love with him, experience him spiritually, if not physically. He does show up to some people physically, but not usually. It doesn't matter, because the spiritual world is much more real than the physical world. It's much better to know him spiritually than physically, although both are possible. So what's the point? They have to know Jesus. They have to know him personally. That's how people stick with their faith. Faith works through love, Galatians says. It doesn't work through training, doesn't work through proper beliefs. Well, excuse me. Somewhat through proper beliefs. But mostly it works through love. It says in Galatians, faith works through love. If a person's faith isn't working, or if they abandon their faith, well, there was no love between them and Jesus himself. Christ himself, God himself, the Father, the Holy Spirit, etc. So what do? You have to teach kids, in this instance, but everybody ultimately, you have to teach them to be in love with him, to know him, to have a real, authentic, loving relationship with him. That's how your faith sticks, because faith works through love. It says in Galatians. Paul knew what he was talking about. And I would like to contrast that with another lady I met earlier today. Didn't claim any religion or faith or anything. And she told me she had 10 kids. And as I was expressing my amazement of that fact, she said, yeah, only one of them was my biological child. The other 9 I adopted. And I thought, well, and I said, yeah, I would do that too if I had the money. She goes, yeah, I didn't have the money, I just did it anyways, because I'm single. So, wow, I just met Superwoman sitting right here on the street. She told me about him, how she raised him, how she cared for him. She didn't claim any faith, religion, Jesus, God, Buddhism, Islam, nothing. But I'd like to compare the two instances of how kids are raised. The title of this video is A Tale of Two Raising Situations. Tale of two ways of how to raise kids. So one, you got a lady who just acts in what? The nature of Christ, the nature of God, which is love, without even knowing it. Loves on a bunch of kids, foster kids, adopts them, sends them out into the world, healthy, happier than they would have been if they'd have stayed in the system. Versus kids that are raised within, quote, the faith, unquote, which seems to me more often than not to be simply a set of beliefs. Mind, what do they call it, brainwashing? And don't get me wrong, I'm all for Jesus, I'm all for God, the Bible. He's everything, as we know. Anybody who watches me know. But if you just teach kids about him and make them memorize Bible verses and cause them to have a set of beliefs about him, well, that doesn't cut it. Some kids, because of their personalities, will stick with it, but I don't know how much value's in it. Because what? The point of our faith, the goal of our faith, is love. It says in 1 Timothy. Love is the goal of our instruction, right? So if there's no love inside of a relationship, which is the only place you can find love in all of existence, then it ain't gonna work. I said it before, and I say it again. Have a nice day.